Stellar Blade's upcoming PC release, Tides of Annihilation, and Wuchang Fallen Feathers are all games that have upset some sensitive snowflakes on social media. They've already started attacking these games and the people who want to play them by saying, oh, only GoOners are excited for these titles, which is ridiculous. But funny enough, their complaining isn't going too well for them because all of these games have all shot up on the Steam most wishlisted list. I have a few different things to show off, but before I get into the topic, if you enjoy the content I create, check out the links in the description, join the community in my live streams, and consider supporting through Patreon or YouTube memberships. Now, I always think it is hilarious that these people, time and time again, will try to get games canceled just because they do not like its content, and it's perfectly fine. You do not have to like every single game release. It's okay if you do not want to monetarily support developers, but at the end of the day, all of these games deserve to exist. I say this even with the games I personally hate, like Kill the Justice League, or Concord, or Flintlock the Siege of Dawn, or Dustborn. I might not like the content, hopefully someone out there does, but I would never tell developers they can't make that content, but I, on the flip side, can criticize it all I want, and as we should, because they're just not good products. Though with games like Wuchang, Fallen Feathers, Tides of Annihilation, and Stellar Blade, they've only been targeted because of breasts, because there are people out there who do not think that women can be beautiful and sexy and feminine and also be strong at the same time, which is such an insane mentality to have, because it just goes to show that you really don't think that highly of women. There are gorgeous women out there who are strong, who are smart, who are compassionate, who are brave, and who are really just great humans all around. But apparently in video games, that's too unrealistic, and you either need to be super ugly and strong, or you need to be a nice, dainty, feminine woman who has no agency, I suppose. But all of these games have been highly sought after and talked about, and there is just a lot of hype surrounding them, and for good reason. Stellar Blade is a fantastic game, and I'm so happy it's finally going to be releasing on PC because the modding scene is going to be glorious with this title. There are going to be so many mods made, and I think we are going to actually see Nexus mods pushed to the brink of madness. I think that those moderators, who really are just activists, are going to freak out over that happening. There's going to be thousands of big titty mods, and I can't wait to see just how much they tried to silence people and epically fail. But these other two games are, of course, not out in any way yet, but they are already really, really hyped up titles like Tides of Annihilation. For example, we only first saw this a few days ago at the Sony State of Play. As you can see, it's got nearly 1 million views, 47,000 likes to only 500 dislikes. It looks like a really fun, high quality, fast paced action game. It looks absolutely gorgeous. Love the art style. I think the lead character, Gwendolyn, looks really interesting. It's supposed to be a sort of spin on the Arthurian legend and Knights of the Round Table. I personally think this is what Forspoken should have been from the get-go, because it really does remind me of that, with all of the very flashy effects, the giant AoE attacks, but it just looks like it's of a much higher level of quality. Now, a reason why this has been attacked is because it is being made by Chinese developers, not the Western AAA industry, and this is just what happens when developers in this region are creating piece of slop after piece of slop, and people are sick and tired of getting low quality experiences. We have to look to other regions and other developers, and in this case, it's a Chinese one. Same thing goes with Wuchang Fallen Feathers. It is a game that is being made by a Chinese studio, and well, it also looks really fantastic, and gamers are super hyped for this. This was from 3 months ago. Again, 1 million views, 35,000 likes, and it also looks like it has some really action-packed combat, really nice effects, really cool character designs. The monster designs are really unique. It does feel sort of like a Black Myth Wukong, and that is not not a bad comparison. I think that these are going to be two absolutely spectacular games to come out, but again, Chinese developers. And I know that there's a bit of a theory out there that, oh, Tencent bought into all of these Western companies to try to force DEI initiatives, and then these Western companies ended up putting out modern audience slop, and now they're turning things around and they're building up their gaming industry because they're putting out content gamers actually want. And I'm not going to go as so far as to say that that's definitely true, but it does look mighty suspicious that they are the ones giving us the content we want. And the same thing goes for South Korean developers. Look at games like Stellar Blade, like The First Descendant. These are titles that have a lot going for them. And again, sexy designs are cool. I love seeing really sexy feminine characters. I love seeing hunky masculine male characters, but you still have to have a good game itself. You still have to have awesome, very responsive, quick-paced combat. You still have to have all of this really good level design and these really unique abilities. Beauty does sell, but it only goes so far, though all of these games do seem to have a hell of a lot of substance to them, and it doesn't hurt that they have very attractive characters, especially when we're looking at games like these and we're comparing them directly to Western slop, like Flintlock: The Siege of Dawn, like Concord, like Suicide Squad: Kill the Justice League, games that initially, okay, people were talking about because companies put so much money into them, but then they ended up releasing and being terrible. Like Kill the Justice League got hundreds of millions of dollars put into it. It was part of the Arkhamverse, a series of games that people absolutely adored previously. That should have, for all intents and purposes, been a smashing success. Sony went out of their way to buy Firewalk Studio. They spent hundreds of millions of dollars between acquiring the studio and putting more money into it because they needed more time to develop it. And then it came out and it died in only 2 weeks. Like, these are games that have so much potential, but because they're just hiring activists to work on them, they end up flopping. And it doesn't seem to be the case with Chinese developers right now. They are actually just doing what they do best, which is making video games instead of pushing activism. Look at how well Game Science did with Black Myth Wukong. I mean, that has sold upwards of 25 million copies, and it deserves every sale. That game is absolutely phenomenal, and I highly recommend it to so many people. These games are all shooting up on the Steam wish lists, and some of them do not even have release dates, like Tides of Annihilation. It just says soon. We don't even technically know if that's going to come out in 2025. We have Wuchang Fallen Feathers, which has a 2025 date, but we do not know exactly when it's going to release. And with the way that games are being delayed right now, maybe we will not even see these in 2025. I genuinely hope we will. And Stellar Blade, we know, is confirmed for June 2025 for the PC release, and I have already streamed that actually twice. I streamed New Game Plus and I really loved it. I'm going to play it again on PC because I think it deserves more time put into it. I think that the new area looks really cool, nice costumes, new boss fights. They're putting in a lot of work and effort, and this is what developers should be doing, listening to their audience, listening to what their customers want, providing us with high quality experiences, and then they really can only reap the rewards. We are seeing Stellar Blade and Wuchang and Tides of Annihilation in the top 150, in this case 121, 120, and 106. And some of these, again, don't even have release dates. So as time goes on and we get closer to the launches, we are going to see these shoot up and even more hate be levied towards these developers and studios. Like there was the whole campaign to take Stellar Blade down because, oh, they objectified women. We've already seen articles published about Wuchang Fallen Feathers and how, oh my God, the developers caved into GoOnEr. Same thing with Tides of Annihilation, and it's only going to continue to get worse as we get closer to the release of these games, but I'm super hyped for them. I know a lot of you are too, and I think it's going to be hilarious to see the epic meltdown surrounding these games, but they are shooting up on the most wishlisted lists over on Steam, and this is just really good to see. But that's all that I really had to discuss in this video. Let everyone know your thoughts in the comments below. If you enjoyed this, give it a like, and if you didn't, give it a dislike. I appreciate appreciate your support either way, but I'll talk to you all again in the next video really soon.